And welcome to Silence This, Watching with Jackson edition, episode 2.
Hi guys.
That is Jackson. I am Tyler. And as usual, your host.
J. Austin Graham. Yeah, that's me. Today we're here to talk about what kind of media you should consume. I've mostly been watching cable. So it's very different than what these two guys have to talk about.
Paying to watch commercials. That sounds awesome.
I don't watch the commercials. I record everything and then fast forward it.
Okay, so you're not quite passively consuming. You're still actively choosing what to record and watch.
But I have the choice of passively consuming.
Okay, so you can eat junk food if you want to.
Yeah.
Because that's what I mean. Yeah, to me, that's kind of what just turning on the TV and leaving it on in the background is. You're like, okay, I'm just like popping junk food into my brain.
Well, yeah, that's how I watch Pawn Stars. Like, I love watching dudes haggle over old shit. Like,
old how dudes much haggling over bullshit.
Yeah. It's like something that's literally worth nothing but to the two of them and maybe some other third party who can buy it from the pawnbroker.
Oh, I got one to talk about. So it was super hot, as anyone who's in the Bay Area right now knows. And so I decided to grab my sleeping bag and go sleep out under the stars. It was kind of overcast, and there was one star. And then I looked to the left, and there was a second. I was like, okay, I am sleeping under the stars because I can see more than one.
Stars.
Okay, good. And I decided to pull up YouTube on my phone and listen to Something Wicked This Way Comes until I passed out because it has this whole summer vibe to it. Have you guys read that one?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Something Wicked This Way Comes is...
We were in a backyard looking at clouds and searching for stars, and now we're in a book.
Okay, let me back up. It was very hot. I couldn't sleep.
So you went outside to sleep?
Yeah, so I decided to sleep outside. And the book I wanted to listen to was Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is by Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
It's an old book. I remember reading it probably when I was 18 or 19. And so, much older than the characters in the book because it's a coming-of-age story, so they're 12, 13. But it had a poignant effect, and I was like, oh, cool, this is a nice coming-of-age tale, and it's got that mysticism stuff. The premise of the story is there's a magic Ferris wheel that if you ride it backwards, you become younger. If you ride it forwards, you become older. Which is a nice metaphor for aging, and what would you do if you could become younger?
Could roll it back.
Yeah. And
Did it work? Did you sleep good?
I basically passed out well because I was outside and I was like, oh yeah, it's cool out here. I can just fall asleep.
Nice.
But yeah, I only listened to probably like 10, 15 minutes of it, and I was like, yeah, okay. And I can't leave it playing because I'm like, no, I'll listen to it later. So I actually turned it off to fall asleep.
I have an opposite problem where when I want to lay down, I think, oh, I'll just watch a YouTube video.
And then you 10, 20
Well, and then what YouTube does is it suggests, hey, don't you want to watch Antifa fight with some people? And I say, sure do, YouTube. And then when I see fights, it just gets my adrenaline going, and then I can't fucking sleep. So I was like, might as well watch another video.
That's not insomnia, that's sleep procrastination, which is a real thing. Yeah. And once I heard that, I was like, most of the time I don't have insomnia. Most of the time it's sleep procrastination. Which brings me to another recommendation on YouTube, which is it used to be D News, and now it's called Seeker. And they're these bite-sized scientific, format where it's like, oh, hey, ever wonder how microfiber works or things of that nature?
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's like they're like 5 minutes, 7 minutes on. You're like, I learned something.
Explain one particular thing. For that, I really like Smarter Every Day.
Similar vein, yeah.
I like how he has something he's genuinely curious about or he genuinely finds fascinating, and then he just goes super deep on something that's really dumb.
The only thing I can do that with is music. If I'm listening to a thing where people are talking, I've tried that with podcasts where I think, oh, I'll be able to fall asleep to this. Nope. It's like if it can maintain a thought for me, I keep going. But music, I can fall asleep. Even metal, I can fall asleep.
Oh, metal puts you right to sleep. It's very soothing. It actually shares a lot of sonic similarities to classical music. Yeah. So it actually makes sense if you know music theory.
And techno is actually comes across it very similarly. It just depends, different beats and different.
Right.
But it's made to dance. It's like it's all about the swells and the builds, and it's
Anything that doesn't have lyrics,
yeah.
I think I could potentially fall asleep to. Otherwise, I'm listening to the lyrics and trying to figure out what the hell they're saying.
Yeah. As long as I enjoy the music, but not like it's weird. I have to enjoy the music just enough where it doesn't upset me, but then not enjoy it so much that I have to listen to the entire song. It's similar to why I can't fall asleep while I'm watching something, because if I'm such a cinephile that if I'm watching something, I want to I want to finish. And I can probably count on like my digits how many times in my life I fell asleep during a movie. Like I have toes, so I got it covered. Like
Yeah. I don't think I've almost ever. Maybe a couple of that weird shit in film school.
third world cinema was like that doesn't count. Like
some of those are rough.
I fall asleep during movies when I've eaten really strong edibles. That's it.
That makes sense.
yeah.
Easy to kind of disconnect from the plot.
I was watching Venom the other day. It was a good movie. It's
a good movie.
But I was so high, I was like, I woke up later. I was like, okay, I'm still watching Venom.
Have you guys seen?
Still a good movie. All right. Don't need the plot. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I missed something, but whatever. This is still cool.
Don't worry, it's still Venom destroying shit. That's all you need.
Yeah, I was able to get right back into it.
Yeah,
Shocking.
that's why that's a good movie, because it's a good bad movie. It's great.
Actually, a movie that he was in right before Venom is Upgrade, and it's like a mid-tier cyberpunk movie. Simple premise, and executed well. Like if you've seen
That's how
it,
you have to pull those off. If you're gonna do it.
Yeah, like
Equilibrium is a good example.
Oh,
yeah.
Equilibrium.
Well executed in that same sort of vein of like sci-fi, interesting concept, well executed, low budget.
Yeah.
And it, dystopian with adults, which is just nice because you're like, oh, yay.
With adults.
Like, that's actually better. And Equilibrium's on Netflix, so you can watch that.
Nice.
Also,
Because of all the teen movies. I
That's
just got
funny.
that. It took me a second to go.
Equilibrium was
right.
on Netflix for a long time, and I used to recommend it to everybody, and then people started going like, I can't find it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, things come and go, and yeah, that's
So
why
it's
I
back.
had to check yesterday. Like, if I'm gonna recommend things, let me double check that these are
Make
still
sure
here.
it's still there.
And all 3 Indiana Jones movies are on there.
Oh.
I mean, technically all 4, but we don't count
The real 3.
Yeah. And the first Mummy movie. So if you need a 4th Indiana Jones movie, you can just watch the Mummy.
The Mummy,
Yeah.
Or I would also recommend
Brendan
National
Fraser.
Treasure. That's a good way
Those
to
are fun.
watch Indiana Jones without Indiana Jones.
Is that one on Netflix?
Doesn't matter. Find it somewhere. No, you're right. I don't know.
It was.
I understand.
Yeah,
was.
like
It
if
might
it was,
still
I
be.
would watch it. I think
Do I
I've probably
almost have-
seen part of it.
I don't have it installed on my phone, and I'm not going to
See,
turn the computer off to go
I
check.
have it.
No,
I can
see,
do
we
that.
can look
National
at this.
Treasure is on cable constantly.
Of course.
It's a fun movie.
It is. It's one you can just get into at any point and just watch
and
these guys.
You know right where it is.
Yeah.
Like there's the MacGuffin thing going on. So it's not hard to lose track of the plot.
Yeah.
And it's got the
It's like,
fun
which
conspiracy
MacGuffin are they
puzzle
on?
solving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like Angels and Demons or those kind of like where
Yeah.
it's the same thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna
Puzzle
have some
solving.
puzzles to solve. How many puzzles are there? There's 4. We're on number 3. It's pretty much how those go.
Well, I want to talk about one of the trashiest shows I watch that I fucking love.
Don't worry,
is
we'll get to
How
this.
Far is Tattoo Far? It's on MTV, and they get the worst possible people to pick tattoos for each other.
Oh, it is. National Treasure is on Netflix.
Awesome.
So
See, we were right.
fact checking, got it.
But,
sorry, you were saying about bad tattoos.
Yeah, so they get people who like have a grudge or like an old like the one I saw last night was 2 girls who like one slept with the other one's boyfriend in high school or some shit, and they've been holding a grudge forever. And like so one girl was like, "Well, you date all these douchebags," and she was like, "Yeah, well, you slept with my good boyfriend." And so like they put tattoos on each other, and they don't get to see it until it's all done, and then they reveal it at the end. And one of them. So the girl that dates douchebags got a canoe that said SS Douche Canoe and 2 muscly dudes with douchebags for heads, and that's on her like thigh forever.
Yeah.
And then the other girl put on herself holding a big bag over her shoulder like Santa's sack with a bunch of dicks falling out of it. big bag of dicks, and it said like man stealer or something like boyfriend stealer or something like that.
Wow.
Those are. And there's an entire show about this, about people putting horrible body art on each other.
Yeah, it's like I just.
This is what MTV is now.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
It's like the absolute worst thing. It's like what's the worst thing I can think to put on my friend permanently?
And then they do it on a show for entertainment. Who goes into that casting?
I mean,
Like,
honest,
I wouldn't, if I went in, even
So
if,
one of the hosts is
I'll
cast
bet
on
you
that.
even money that they also pay for the tattoo removal. Like,
no, there's no removal, but they may have another show later on, which they connect them to, which is a cover-up show. That
Yeah.
hasn't happened, but they may be like under the table, like, hey, why don't you hook up with Ink Master over here? They have a cover-up edition.
I could see it being in their contract, though,
Yeah.
that, like, they're already spending a couple grand on this, that, and the other thing. So, like, hey, by the way, option, if you really, really super hate it, you can get it removed, and we'll give you a credit or something.
well, I mean, with
maybe
things,
just to get people
that's
to
really
agree.
expensive, but
Just
yeah.
to get people to agree. I wouldn't agree to that. If I was in
What-
that casting,
guys,
I wouldn't agree.
All these people are so... No,
but
see, the way they
here's
agree...
here's the thing, though. Wait, because like things like Judge Judy and shit. Like, if you win or lose, you don't pay. The payment comes out of the show. And I would assume
that's
that
why
the
it
same
has to
thing.
be small claims.
Yeah, that I would assume the same thing with the tattoo. They're not actually paying for their crappy tattoo.
Well, obviously not.
Yeah. So like,
Why would you
Well,
want
so-
a crappy tattoo you're
No,
paying
here's
for?
here's the reason. But here's the reason they do it. It's all about doing it to the other person.
Right.
It's not. They're not thinking about, oh, I have to deal with this for me. It's like, I want to put that tattoo on that
you.
person. I want to do, and it's that
Can we
revenge,
stop? This is
that
giving me-
motivation that gets.
This is giving me anxiety.
yeah, this is why I don't fuck with reality TV.
I love
Really.
watching the bottom of the barrel and just being like, wow.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
I can't do it anymore, man. It's not funny to me. It's like
If I want to see
I-
the dregs of humanity, I can just watch the news. Like
I
don't
was
need
gonna
to-
say, if I want to see the dregs of humanity, I can go back to Ohio and visit my family. There's a reason that's not. I grew up around those people. I want nothing to do with them.
I can see that. I guess I have a little bit of a different experience where I just always watch from afar. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay.
Whereas it's like, to me, it's like, no.
This is too close to home.
We used to play Waynesville at football. I know those people. I don't want to know. I don't want to do that. Which is why I've been listening to a lot of lectures.
Oh, yeah.
I would recommend Brent Weinstein's YouTube channel. He recently posted his statements in front of Congress.
I know that name.
Brent Weinstein was the professor at Green State, Green Garden, Green something.
I know what you're talking
Green
about. The guy who was fired.
Well, so basically what happened is they had this equity proposal that said that white people were not allowed to come to school for a day, and that was their day was banning white people instead of us walking out or whatever. No, you can't come.
Banning white people.
You're right. And so Brent stood up and said, this is wrong. I'm not going to do this.
ridiculous.
I'm not going to do this. I disagree. And so a band of the students got together, closed down his classroom,
Wow.
held him at hostage essentially, and demanded his resignation. And he stood there and said, no.
Okay, that's where I know the name.
Yes.
All right, yeah. Okay.
And so this turned into a big ordeal. The university fired him, doubled down on their social justice policies, and they now have almost no enrollment. No students are willing to go to this school because it's such a toxic, shitty
Yeah, it's
environment.
like Greenville or something. I remember. Yeah, I know. what you're
Evergreen
talking-
or yeah, something like that. And basically, it's social justice warrior nonsense run amok. But when he gets a chance to sit in front of Congress and explain like his side of things and how this all came about, you really get a sense of like, oh, this is a problem in colleges where gender studies and this sort of nonsense science that isn't a real science is being pushed out as a real science, and people are adopting an ideology, turning it into a cult. It doesn't have any central leader really, but this cult-like behavior to sort of take people over is there. And Brent is right there on the front saying, no.
This sounds. I saw a bit of a documentary on Vice. You know, Vice News. Like,
Yeah, I
sometimes
watch
they
Vice
put
from time to
little snippets in there, and they had one about Hampshire College where Ken Burns graduated from.
Yeah.
And it's a little like it's a liberal art. It's an art school. Like they basically like they try to encourage people to like make documentaries and like get into film with like, experimental film and like so they're not very what do you call it profit focused. It's a college that's like doing their best to like help people actually learn to do what they want to do, but it's more arts focused. So they don't have like a lot of alumni sending money for the football team.
Yeah,
because they don't have that.
They're all art students as well, so they probably don't have
right.
a football team.
So a lot of their alumni, other than Kim Burns, don't have a lot of money to just send to the school. So this school recently has been having a very hard time financially because even when they brought somebody in to try to help, all the new Generation Z kids that like have been involved in the student government and making decisions all along, when somebody comes in and says, hey, look, we have to do this to stay open. Yeah. Like, we got to meet these numbers, and we have to do this. And these kids were like, no, you're the corporation. Yeah. You're the bad guy coming in to tell us what to do.
Yeah, responsibility. They're rejecting the responsibility.
Well, and it's a great example of what you're saying about, like, this group of people that are, like, they don't understand what it takes
to make the thing work.
Yeah.
And they don't want to recognize that reality. They want to stay children and they want to stay in Neverland and they just want the machine to function and they want those painful, difficult obligation portions of the world to just disappear or have somebody else take care of it.
That's what why do we need to make this money? We should be able to just be
do
open.
It. Yeah, and you're like, that's not the way the world works.
Yeah, it's like, I get that. I mean, that sounds nice.
But it's not really.
We could realistically get to a point where we have, universal education for people. Like that is a realistic goal to get to.
But with the universities being corporations the way they are, that's getting worse.
I mean, yeah, like one of the things I have a huge problem with is why did we ever? I mean, I know why we did it, but privatizing things like prisons was a terrible idea because you added a profit. Yeah. You added a profit motive to something that should not have a profit.
I will agree with that every time it's brought up.
But there's the same problem with college tuition costs.
Right,
there's
and the
thing, profit motive for the schools, and there's all this free money coming from the government in order to try to make it free, so they just keep amping it up.
And if you want to get into socialism,
like the if you remove the profit motive from the education system, you throw money at it. And it's the same thing with pharmaceuticals. If you're just giving two different price points. It's like if you don't have insurance, you pay this much for the drug. If you have insurance, you pay this much for the drug. Because they're offsetting so that they still make the same amount of money.
Right, they're taking that subsidized money that they know is there for the thing, and then they're adjusting their prices knowing that there's basically free money coming.
Right, so it's
what's happened with like FAFSA and stuff.
It's bad faith at the top that's like, it's still breaking down the system. And there's a way to make it work, but you actually have to put people first instead of your wallet first.
Well, to me,
the money needs to work. The money needs, because the system that you require money in order to function. I think theoretically the idea was that you have public schools that are funded with public money, and then the tuition costs are, you're not subsidizing the tuition costs, you're subsidizing the budget of the university. It's injecting money in a different place versus injecting money at the student and then putting the loan burden on the student. Well, even if you bankrupt, you can't wipe your student loans. It's an insane system.
Yeah, when our parents were our age, they could afford to go to college and pay for it with a fucking, minimum wage job. Yeah. We can't do that.
So, and it's the same problem we're running into with insurance, right? So when you have so the colleges were able to keep raising their prices because people were able to get loans that would pay whatever the price they raised it to.
And a lot of that money went to middle management instead of to the actual system, which is that's part of the systemic problem.
The administration in the universities is horrendously deeper than it needs to be.
And it's the same thing with insurance companies. Like I keep telling people what we need is I want socialized insurance. What you would call a government option. Yeah. Where you can get insurance through a government plan.
And it's
no profit.
Cheaper.
All they do is they just instead of skimming the profit off like the other insurance companies, they just put that money back into the system. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's so but if you just called it government insurance instead of socialized health care, if you just called it government insurance and then made it that, I think a lot of people would agree.
Can I just
They
say?
get,
Can I
people
just
get triggered by
can I
that
just-
word.
Can I just?
Socialism.
Can I
I'm
just-
triggered. Oh.
Can I just say that this is why Brett Weinstein's channel is awesome, and you guys should go check it out. See the discussion that it sparked.
No, it's really cool. And well, I mean, and I want to mention what is it, Adam Ruins Everything. I fucking love that show.
Show's
He
great.
did a great episode on health insurance and hospitals, and it's fucking phenomenal. Everyone needs to see it, and just to see how much the haggling between the insurance company and the hospital makes prices go up. It's fucking insane.
Well, the thing is that they're
And
basically
that's
in cahoots.
counterproductive.
Yeah, they're basically in cahoots.
Yeah.
And the
hospital-
doctors may be against it, but regardless of how the doctor feels personally, they're still profiting off the same system.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
because their fees aren't going down either.
Yeah. I'm just saying we could go on and on about this. We're supposed to be talking about media, though.
Well, I think this is actually a good conversation, and the way that we connected it to media is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that here's the places where you can go and get the information that we're talking about. That makes sense.
One of the things that I've always said from basically Survivor onward, I was like, take any reality TV show, which is not reality, because if you've actually taken film studies, you know how much staging and how much bullshit is involved. If you take that same premise and you wrote a fucking script, you would actually have a more compelling narrative, and you would hire more people. The reason that reality TV blew up is we had this channel explosion, and there wasn't enough content to fill it.
And reality TV is very cheap to produce.
Yeah, and
because it's roughly scripted. There's no.
Use Dan Harmon's thing, it's like you don't want a television show that makes people think. You want a television show that makes people docile, so that the advertisements can embed into their brain.
Yeah,
and that's why I like non-passive media.
The other thing about reality TV shows is that it sort of makes stars out of the average person. It was kind of the first start of that, and then once we got to the Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, now we're at the point where everybody thinks they're a star, everybody wants to be a star, and so you have no problems fucking staffing a reality show, including one where they fucking tattoo each other. These people are insane.
Oh, it's fucking great. See, I feel like I kind of feel like those people deserve it.
Yeah, because they're dumb enough to sign up for it.
Yeah, they were like, they filled out, they signed their fucking thing. They're like, I'll take this money for this stupid tattoo. Like, and I like watching them deal with their consequences.
It hurts my brain.
Yeah,
This is another reason why veterans commit suicide.
Wait. So let me ask you this: how would you guys feel about a reality ratings board? Somebody whose job it is to say exactly what percentage of reality is involved in any reality TV show.
That becomes subjective. I appreciate it. Like
I think it's cool.
I think as a humorous, like I think it's more of a humorous anecdote.
It's more of a joke.
Like I think that would work as a sketch or like or an app.
I think just assume zero.
Yeah. I mean,
given my film's called Removed from Reality, I'm fascinated with this question of filming reality and what is reality and how can we discuss an objective reality. And the fact is that once you take people like that and turn cameras on around them, nothing is real.
Well, let me tell you about
nothing is real.
This is why I like the tattoo shows. I love Ink Master because it doesn't get any more real than a fucking tattoo. A tattoo's not... you can laser it off, but that's a lot of time, effort, money, and it doesn't come off that easy.
If there weren't the cameras there, they wouldn't do it.
So?
It's not real, then.
The tattoo's real!
Okay, it's similar to professional wrestling.
The
violence in professional wrestling is real. They really do get
the story's fake.
The story, that's
sometimes.
That's kind of the thing. It's like reality TV is professional wrestling. That's
okay.
That's the analogy I'm gonna go with.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, actually.
Yeah.
I think
that's a pretty good analogy.
Instead of watching that, you should take 3 hours of your day and watch season 5 of Black Mirror. It's out, right?
It's season 5 already?
Season 5 came out. Yeah. 3 episodes.
I
watched them yet?
But I love Black Mirror.
They're not as dark.
But
they're decent. The Miley Cyrus one I like.
The second episode ever of Black Mirror is one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen.
I wanted more of that. It didn't go as dark as I wanted it. Yeah.
That one was fucked up. The virtual reality one, that's the one? Yeah,
that one was fucked up. Was the horror one, right?
Yeah.
So,
aren't they all horror?
No. Where he goes into a horror video game is what I mean. You know
that's
that
the one that where
his phone goes off and it's only one
No,
second.
it turns out
Okay,
that
he's trying to score with a chick that like he's trying to get into a reality show where she's
Oh,
trying to be a
different
pop
episode then.
star.
So
Yeah.
I've only seen a handful of episodes.
Oh,
One of the
okay.
episodes I saw was the one where he's a beta tester for this new horror game that's like super
Yeah,
immersive.
right. And
super,
they're like, how long-
but
yeah.
and I watch it
That
and
was
I'm
the
like,
one I thought it
it's a
was.
compelling episode, but my first thought was, nah, they would make this porn. Like, if you had this technology, the first thing you would do is porn, not horror. Like, obviously.
But there was the thing is that there was some other research thing involved, that it was like a government program because they were going to test it on. So there was the thing is it was like built in. They handled that in the story.
Not to my satisfaction.
Handled that
I
in the
called
story. It made
bullshit. It
sense.
was like, no, this is unrealistic. Like I can get behind the sci-fi of it, but I'm like, no, they would do porn first. They wouldn't take this.
But that wasn't what they were doing in that context. You're wrong. That made sense. The writers are fine. For Black Mirror, you guys did fine. They did a great job. It made total
I'm
sense.
with Jackson. Porn's the first every time.
But
Yeah, see, like
porn is first
DVDs,
every time.
DVDs, VHS,
Look,
Blu-ray.
Look, hold on. No, you're not
all
wrong.
the formats.
You're not wrong. That wasn't the
But
premise.
that's the premise
That
of the
was
show.
not the premise. The premise of the episode of this thing was the guy was going in to test something, but he was being duped in
Okay.
by some government agency that's actually testing some torture device.
Yeah.
And that he's like, oh, it's a horror, fun entertainment. And then I'm going to ruin the end. He's dead in the end. He actually dies, and they're like, oh, he was only under for 1.3 seconds. Oh, it's the longest one, whatever. It made fucking sense!
I'm not saying that the plot didn't make sense. What I'm saying is that's not what you would do first.
But you brought it up in the sense of that doesn't make sense and I'm like, yes, it does. It
Yeah.
makes total sense because it
what
was
I meant was that's not what you would do first, and we can all agree it's not what you would do first with that technology,
But it's
because
not in that story. In that story, it made total sense.
yes, I'm being critical, and it's for humorous effect, and you're stepping on the joke and being a dick about it, which is fine, but like you're missing my point.
Okay, I saw Rosemary's Baby for the first time the other night.
I actually haven't seen that one.
Really? Have you seen it?
Dark, because I recall it's just if
So,
I watched it, I watched it in
Here's
broken
the thing
parts.
about Rosemary's Baby. All right? So I'm not going to ruin the movie. Telling you this is not ruining the movie. You already know about it. You already know enough about it.
Yeah,
it's made by Roman Polanski. While he was shooting it, his wife was killed by the Manson family.
All right.
While he was in Europe shooting this film. Now, this film is about how an actor gets his parts gets new parts by joining a coven and giving them access to his wife. So now what happens?
And then she births a demon baby.
Right, because she has sex with the devil supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is what happened was I believe he was making a movie about a guy who gets involved with the coven and then maybe sells off his child or sells off something to the coven.
Right.
But what happened was his wife was killed and then things changed and now all of a sudden he makes a movie about the devil impregnating her, and it's no longer about selling his child to this elite group of devil worshippers. It's about having Satan's baby. And so I feel like he was steering into like the same conspiracies that people talk about all the time. And then I feel like his wife was killed, and he went away from that for some reason.
I don't know
that's-
enough about the making of that one, but
that
it is,
sounds
it's an intense
sounds
story.
very plausible because art does not live in a vacuum. So if you
Yeah.
had something traumatic like that happen to you in the middle of a project,
Yeah.
and you still had the fortitude to finish it, then
Probably
it would
not just
definitely
the
affect-
fortitude, but the necessity.
Yeah.
I would imagine that at that point you're like, fuck all this shit. I'm doing nothing but my film because there's nothing else. It's the only
Yeah.
thing you have left.
Okay, but it's a fucked up situation. If you look into that kind of stuff, like Rosemary's Baby comes up, and Polanski comes up obviously
Yeah.
because
Is it on Netflix? Where is
hopefully-
Rosemary's
I
Baby?
watched it on Stars on demand.
I know that you can pay extra on Hulu for things like HBO or Stars.
So there you go.
You can watch it on Stars.
Yeah. I actually started rewatching Daria, which is an amazing show.
Is that on Hulu?
It is. The entire series is on Hulu.
I was just
And
thinking about that.
It's such a good. It holds up so well, and it's a nice time capsule of the '90s. And like, it's funny because I look back so fondly at the '90s and like, oh, the music was so great, but you get this eclectic smattering of music, you're like, oh yeah, I hated this fucking song.
Well, there's a bunch of songs that you didn't like that were cool at the time.
I feel like that's why Daria's had a hard time being re-released. Like, you don't see it on Cartoon Network. Like, you see King of the Hill on there and stuff. And I feel it's because of the music. Because of
it's
rights
so
to the
expensive.
music.
Yeah. I actually found out that if you were lucky enough to like record them on VHS when they aired, the music is different from the DVD box set.
That happened to
because
me
they
with
couldn't
The
afford
State.
it.
I used to have every episode of The State on VHS with the original music, and I don't know what happened to it. Like, a friend borrowed it, and I never got it back, or it just disappeared.
But the
And,
DVD release music's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes me wonder, like, damn, I wonder what music, because it
Well,
must
it's
have been...
probably
They
because-
approximate it. So, like, the song Cannonball, by...
Zombies.
Youth. Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth?
Sonic
That's-
Youth. Cannonball. I am your cannonball.
This drunk karaoke brought to you by Silent Fist.
Anyway.
Okay, wow.
Fun. Acapella group.
We kind of nailed it. I gotta be honest. I think we kind of got it right. We picked up the bass line just right. Nailed
But they approximate it.
Yeah.
Like, you watch the sketch and you're like, I can tell this was supposed to be Cannonball. It's legally distinguishable. But
Yeah.
I jumped to I think I jumped to episode 1 of season 3 because I didn't want to start at the beginning. I didn't want to hop to the end. I just square in the middle. And the first episode of season 3, Daria gets approached by the embodiments of the Saints holidays. So Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day, and they're like Christmas, Halloween, and fucking Christmas, Halloween, and Guy Fawkes Day. Decided to leave to the mainland and start a band, and so they're the embodiments of those, and they're in a band, but because they left basically it's fucking Nightmare Before Christmas premise. Like the embodiments of these, and it's weird because you're like, okay, they're just saying fuck it, because it's like, and Daria makes a joke like, I must be having a psychotic break, but then she just rolls with it. You're like, this is amazing. Like, it was a great episode to just jump back in and be like, so if you've seen it already and you kind of know, like, just start there, because it's like that's a great episode
I don't think
to start
I watched that much Daria. I was pretty into Beavis and Butthead at the time.
I loved Beavis and Butthead, and I did watch most of Daria. I think I've probably seen every episode.
Even though I am definitely a metalhead, I preferred Daria's narrative because it actually had
a story.
It was.
I like Beavis and
It
Butthead
was
because
a
there
better
was no
show.
story.
Yeah, it was aimed at me. Like, it was aimed at the weird smart kid who's like, I fucking hate high school. I can't wait to get out of here. Like, that's...
Whereas I liked the sort of jackassery.
Yeah.
I liked them both,
yeah.
but I preferred Beavis and Butthead. I did.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Daria actually graduated the same year I did. So I was like, I guess we're the same age. That's kind of cool.
So I finally got around to watching Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
I enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, it's good, like, intro story.
It's a good, and there's a lot to like about it. There's a lot of good stuff going on. I had a few beefs with it, which I won't bring up, but we'll get to do that on some future episode where we like go through some of these Marvel movies in detail.
Yeah.
And talk about some of the weird things they're doing.
I don't like.
Yeah, here's this weird thing they did. Let's talk about it.
Also, like, rewatching the first Iron Man movie before Disney, you're like, oh man, it was so much more violent, and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Like, he kills so many people in that movie. You're like, yeah, this is fucking dope. Like,
Yeah.
and
It's
like,
gnarlier.
Yeah, like,
It's a rawer
it's punk
movie.
rock, because you had less to lose, so you tried more. Like, you did more shit because you had less to lose. I mean, that's basically, like, things become more conservative as they gain more to lose. Like, that's how the world operates, because it's like, I have more to lose, I'm going to take less risk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of which, have you seen John Wick 3?
Yep.
We saw it together, so we could,
Yeah.
we have a lot to...
Speaking of movies full of killing hella
So
people.
first of all, let me say the first thing about John Wick 3.
By the way,
this is my total review.
right off the bat, thumbs up.
Yeah. Thumbs up, for
Thumbs
sure.
up.
I
recommend, highly recommend.
Okay. My
The whole
review
trilogy
is
dope.
It's fine.
I liked it. I enjoyed the action, but I was looking for a conclusion, and all I got was a link to another movie.
Yeah.
Like, so I was a little disappointed in that I was looking for the end of a story. You wanted the end to be an ending. And I got nope, there's more.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that they're going to have the Continental on HBO.
What? I hadn't heard about
It's going to be a
series
show.
Just
no way.
Yeah.
Is it going to be directed by the same guy?
They're involved. Everyone is involved.
Wow.
So it's not like...
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's like, oh, yay, I'm glad Game of Thrones died because now we're going to get some other stuff and, like, there's room for it.
That's what I liked about John Wick 3 was how involved the Continental was.
Yeah.
Like how central that was.
Also, the main dude, when he's just chilling back having his drink, like, kill these guys. Yeah, John, do your thing.
Yeah, that guy's great.
I
fucking Swearinger from...
I haven't watched the new Deadwood movie yet.
I haven't either. So.
I have it recorded, I just haven't watched it.
I also need to watch the second season. Yeah, they finished the arc of the whole narrative.
In a movie.
Yeah. Because they were like, we're not going to get a new season, but we can finish it off in a movie. Firefly-esque. And I'm like, okay.
It looks really good, actually. Like
that's a great idea.
I recorded it, but I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
Dope. I got to get me a copy of that shit.
I also need to watch the newest season of American Gods.
Are you caught up? You can come hang out and watch it.
I'm not caught up. You can catch me up. I'm not a spoilers person. People who are like, don't tell me spoilers.
I'm
not. Yeah. Tell me. I don't give a shit.
Don't give me spoilers. Yeah. Same page.
It'll still be good. I'll still enjoy it.
It's like I would love the ability to, like, if I know I love a show, to be able to erase my memory and rewatch it.
So number one, first time you watch a thing, eat a really big edible first. That way, the next time you watch it, you'll be like, oh, this is great.
I do a thing, Drunk Movie Collective, where we get blotto and we watch bad movies, and then I'll watch them sober at some later date, and I'm like, yeah, similar idea.
And I'll say even more fun than doing that is taking LSD the first time you watch a movie, and that way, every time you watch it subsequently, you'll go like, wow, that was really fucked up when I watched this scene. This is nothing like I remember. But I will never forget how awesome this was the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
You'll watch it again like, wow, I am interpreting this very different this time around.
Seeing something very different.
One of my buddies at community college is like, oh, I love Mars Attacks. And I was like, why?
Oh, that's a great mushroom movie.
And he goes, and he just goes, it's the first time I got head in a movie theater. I was like, oh yeah, I can understand why you would love that movie then. That makes sense.
Honestly, Mars Attacks, if you think you don't like it, I would recommend watching it again. I find it is a great film.
It's actually, it's popcorny and cheesy if you can let go and have fun with it.
It's everything I want it to be.
It's a fun movie. It's really fun.
I think, like, if I remember correctly, it came out around the same time as, like, Men in Black and stuff like that.
Right. So
I was expecting a higher caliber of movie.
And that's the thing is it was intentionally sort of,
campy.
What would you call it? Yeah, campy. It was intentionally sort of cheesy, and it was taking this 50s stereotype of the alien invasion and then kind of running with it and making these cartoony...
He made Ed Wood right before that. It's Tim Burton, and he made Ed Wood right before that. And if you're familiar with Ed Wood, it's about a guy who made, like, really shitty sci-fi movies.
Okay.
And so Tim Burton took the idea of, what if I made a really shitty sci-fi movie, but with, like, good effects? You know, what if I, like, took all this...
You know what? I didn't even realize it was Tim Burton because it's not full of black spirals and, you know, Helen Bonham Carter.
Yeah, right? And very, very dark color palettes, yeah.
But, no, it doesn't look like a typical Burton film because it has no goth in it at all.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why he went back to goth and stuck with it. He was like, that didn't work out.
A lot of Burton fans, like myself, love Mars Attacks. Yeah. But... that's Burton fans who already know it's a Burton movie and view it as such.
Yeah, I'll give it a rewatch. Although, if you like Tim Burton when he's not being hyper pretentious, you can watch Pushing Daisies, which is
I love it.
It's not Tim Burton,
series,
but
right?
it feels like Tim Burton if he was less pretentious.
That's what I thought when I watched it. See? I was like, very Burton-esque.
Thank you. I nailed the description. When I tell people that, they go, yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
haven't seen
Visually
enough of
very
it.
Burton-esque. It's
I think
about
it's
a pie
amazing.
maker. It's like it's
So
very
I've seen the
fairy
first
tale. It's
I've seen the first episode. I remember
loved
that it's
it.
very like storybookish.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually haven't finished the second season. Like, I watched most of it, but I know that the ending is a cliffhanger, so I'm just putting off finishing it. So it's like, if I don't finish it, it's not done.
Yeah.
I can.
See, this is why I didn't keep up with Game of Thrones, because now I can sit here and watch the whole thing
least
all
you
the
know
way
it
to
ends.
conclusion.
Yeah. That's but you're right about that show.
Yeah.
Like I was so pissed when that show got canceled.
It's so good.
because I was
and, like,
really into
the marketing was
There's,
shitty.
there's a lot of people
Like,
that
I remember
yeah.
the marketing being really shitty because I had just started watching 6 Feet Under.
Marketing was terrible.
I had just started watching
The
6
name
Feet
wasn't
Under,
good either.
and when I heard Pushing Daisies, I was like, this looks like a lighthearted 6 Feet Under. Why would I watch this when I can watch 6 Feet Under?
Yeah.
And that's the name was too similar
Yeah, and so it, like, I wish I'd given it a shot. Like,
because they're nothing alike at all.
right, and it was just really shitty marketing, and yeah, but it's a great series.
Have you seen Better Off Ted?
Yes.
That was on Netflix too. I don't know if it still is, but that show was fucking hilarious.
Better Off Ted is, I put it right in that same category of lighthearted darkness. It's like, it's very hard to do that where you're like, it's extremely dark and it's lighthearted. It's very hard to nail, and both
Yeah.
shows nail it so well.
I think
Better Off Ted is no longer on Netflix, and I
Okay.
would rewatch that series with anyone who wanted to watch it because it's so good.
The name is what killed it, and I
Yeah.
feel like same with Pushing Daisies.
Yeah, it's an amazing satire of business culture and.
But you hear the name Better Off Ted, and again you think Pushing Daisies, 6 Feet Under. Like you just
Better Off Dead. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you just you just get an idea in your head, and that's not what the show was.
I like that dark humor. Although when you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was Full Metal Jacket.
Oh,
no.
Fuck yeah, dude!
But you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
That
yeah.
like that's
Dude, I
taking
was
some
like-
super dark humor, and like if you get the darkness of the humor, it's funny. If you can go with it, but if you
I was
can't,
like-
it's just dark.
I was like 13 or 14 when my dad was like, "You need to watch this movie,"
film.
and I was like, "All right." And it's just like once it gets to the war, whatever. But that boot camp shit was the funniest goddamn thing I had ever seen as a
So
14-year-old.
I've talked to a lot of vets who go, yeah, Full Metal Jacket's great until they get to the war. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're like,
it's great until they get to the war.
'cause you're like, it's like realistic.
Two different movies.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's two different movies.
Yeah.
Well, even the war stuff is like, there's good stuff there. Kubrick
There
did a
is.
great
No, there's
job,
good
but
stuff
it is
in-
a totally different film. It's like that whole first scene up until the ending of the boot camp thing, and then different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's two different movies. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was watching one of my long format film analysis. It might have been Movies with Mikey, which is great. He's like a very positive, like he re-reviews things he loves. He's like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to tell you why. But he was defending AI, which is,
The movie?
Yeah. The movie that, it was Kubrick's last movie because he died or he knew he was going to die, so he gave
I didn't know that.
He let Spielberg finish it, and it feels like such a like it takes such a tonal shift, and it does the thing where it tacks on an ending, and if you just didn't have that, it would have been a stronger movie. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying
I get it.
It should have ended here, and it kept going, and it made the movie worse. But
AI.
Interesting.
That's the
it's a Pinocchio allegory.
right.
I like
that's,
AI.
that's the one
I
with
think it's a good
the
movie.
boy
I
dies,
personally
and then
enjoy
They make a robot
they
version.
make a robot version,
Yeah.
but then the robot version lives so effing long.
Yeah. I'm going to rewatch it because I want to see, like, I remember watching it and being really disappointed with the ending because I was like, it should have just been sad. They should have just let it be sad and have it be done.
That's
like,
a movie I watched on psychedelics the first time. I was just tripping. I
That
was like,
seems
this
rough.
sounds like a good movie to watch.
that seems rough.
It was actually really enjoyable.
Okay.
Like visually, it was fucking great. The storyline was a hell of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
because there's ups and downs.
And there's
in
a
there.
lot. There was a lot of mental shit to think about. Like it was a really fun movie. But then I, again watched it again later because I was like, oh, I need to watch this again. And I was like, less fun,
Yeah,
but still a good movie.
yeah. It's a good one. I like
But
that.
I wanted to talk about
Well,
because
dark.
I brought up a 14-year-old, and I had this really weird experience. I just wanted to briefly go over this. I was playing Overwatch online, and this 13-year-old girl came on the game at like 2 a.m. She's homeschooled, so she's like, that's why she's up late. But the thing is like, she was just talking shit to other adults at like this insane level.
I want age brackets on gaming. I want age brackets where it's like
She was so funny.
She was good at it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like this guy was clearly a better player than her,
Yeah.
but she was just eviscerating him verbally.
I told Tyler about this. I was playing Brawlhalla, and this dude
Yeah.
adds me to a party so he can talk shit, and I just destroyed the fucker. And
With
it was
his other friends in the party. So
Oh,
his
yeah.
friends were in the
That's
party.
great.
So his
and
friends
they
in the
were
party are laughing at his shit.
That's
and just
That's funny.
like he's destroying you, bro. Da, 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 da. Like,
That's funny.
it's like my
Jack.
name on PlayStation is Jackson the Comic. You want to fuck? Like, come at me.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been doing that shit on Twitter.
Yeah, I do that too. Like I hold back until it's like absolutely necessary, and then when I do,
Well-
people are like, oh,
and that's the thing. If you're a good player, you don't talk shit.
yeah.
You don't
That's
need
like
to. You just beat them into the
top
ground.
top tier players don't talk
Yeah.
shit. So for me, like, there's a taunt button because it's a fighting
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
And if you taunt me, I'll taunt you back. But I'm not gonna I'm not going to start the dickish behavior.
Yeah, right,
Like,
right, okay.
I'm not going to come after you. I'm not going to make it. Yeah,
Like,
about that.
Yeah, and I've had a few, like, mostly through text chat where they'll like talk shit like, "Oh, you killed me with the same move," and I'm like, if I killed you with the same move, you're really garbage at this game.
Yeah, you know the move. Like, defend the move. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I add like, "Have a great day, love you, I hope you have like I just like
All the nice
tack
stuff.
on the like just make them feel like, oh, I'm a garbage person. Like
That's been my strategy on Twitter of like I'm actually being really nice and totally
Yeah.
cordial and actually not slinging
It
insults
works
or anything.
really well.
And then once people come in and they're shooting insults, and then like a little bit later you're like, actually, I'm a reasonable human being and you're a dick.
Well, I had a guy
and,
like
we're assholes. Like
Yeah.
we know we are. And the thing is like it's not resting bitch face. I have smirking asshole face. It's like I've had so many people. They'll say some dumb shit to me in real life, and then I'll just smile, and people tell me to shut up. And I'm like, you heard what I was thinking, but whatever you thought is it's like the horror movie monster you don't see. Like that's my thought. My thought is the horror movie monster because I was thinking some shit, but whatever you thought I was thinking is gonna be even scarier. Like
well, you know, wait, resting. What would you say? Smirking
Asshole face.
Smirking asshole
Yeah,
face. That's,
yeah. There's a kid who's probably not going to get into college thanks to smirking asshole face. So,
Someone out there.
yeah, the fucking Richmond, Adam Richmond,
this
the
the college
kid who was
entrance?
smiling at the Native American man.
Oh.
that one.
Yeah.
That one is
Smirking asshole face, right there.
Here you
Not
go.
getting into college now, probably.
Really?
That
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
that one has.
I'll get into a Christian
like,
university.
I feel like
Any
that
place that wants a reputation, it's like he's gonna have a hard time. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time.
that one, like I watched like different I watched the TYT narrative of that one, and then I watched the Fox narrative, and I was like, okay, where's the truth here? Like it's like you guys have such wildly different perspectives on the exact same event that it's like, okay,
Welcome to America.
but there is objective truth. Like,
Well,
that's
what you're
the thing.
saying
Like,
is exactly right.
like-
So what I did was I researched it myself.
Right.
Like I went and watched all the available video. I did. And I researched it myself, and what I found is that Fox News's narrative was a little bit closer to reality than the Young Turks.
They still take a spin.
They still had a
acknowledging-
spin.
They
Correct.
still do the fucking fake news bullshit.
Right. So, but according to my view of the actual footage, I found in that particular instance, I would say Fox News
Closer.
was a little closer to reality.
I
That instance.
I'd have to do the same legwork, and
Yeah.
my guess is that I would have the inverse opinion.
I don't think
because-
so.
and he-
I
you may
think
not.
if you watch the actual
You may not if
footage,
you watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
in
I
long
think you
format.
would.
But here's the
'Cause-
other thing is that I think what we're running into is the gold dress, blue dress, or Yanny. What's the other Laurel Yanny one? That basically what
Well,
you're.
that's
and
that's
see, here's
a
the thing.
bit different because
No, no,
that's
no, no,
actually
no, no.
scientifically.
No, but
like-
that's actually I was just listening to a Hidden Brain today.
Okay,
that
that's a good
actually
podcast as well.
suggests that there is a scientific evidence that you can tell whether somebody is liberal or conservative by how their brain reacts to certain stimulus.
Sure.
One of the things they were using was limbs. That there was like people had lost their limbs. They were showing these gruesome photos of amputations or whatever, and that the liberal folks had more of an empathetic reaction, that they like felt the pain more.
Right.
Their mirror neurons were more active, whereas the conservatives didn't react to that. They reacted to the danger ones. They didn't react to the empathy. They reacted to the threat stronger.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's interesting.
But anyway, that was where I was going with this, was that I think this is the problem happening in America right now, is that you see the same events, and there's a notion that there's objective truth that we can all arrive at, which kind of there is, that this mechanical thing sort of happened. But what that means, who those players are, or the significance of it, that's all pretty subjective. That's all pretty yiny.
Well, I would argue that we need both.
We do. Absolutely.
We need
both
people
brains.
with empathy, and we need people who are wary of the threats. We need both.
Yeah. It is interesting to me because it does sort of fit, because you look at like military spending and things of that nature.
Right.
Like it comes from a place of fear. It's like, oh, I'm afraid that everyone's gonna attack us and kill us and da 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 da.
There are threats.
Even though we have, the largest military in the world, and we spend more than our
so,
allies combined. And,
so the threats are overblown,
Yeah.
for sure. However, they do exist.
They do exist.
But it's also a matter of which...
But it is overblown.
It's all a matter of which threats
Yeah.
you personally find, because something that's more personally threatening to you, you're going to think is a bigger, national issue, or it should be, or whatever. Whereas something that doesn't personally affect you, somebody else is going to react differently to that, and you're going to look at that and go, how could you have that reaction?
Yeah.
Well, your brain is literally wired differently.
Yeah. Well, which is kind of funny, because that's exactly like the genesis of this podcast is like, people were like, I don't agree with how you see the world, and you're like, well, this is how I see the world. And it's like, that's
Yeah, and the thing is that, I think the path forward is, like the empathy circles we've been doing with Ed, who hopefully we'll have Ed on soon, but is being able to find that middle ground of being able to see, okay, you have that perspective, I don't, but I respect it.
Well, dude, check out Empathy Circle on Facebook. It's fucking awesome. That guy, Edwin Rausch.
Yeah.
That guy's great. He's at like all the rallies. Like, he goes to wherever Antifa and people are facing off. Like, he's there trying to like
get
spread
these people
the idea
who
of
are
empathy.
these people
It's
who
like,
are
let's
super
talk.
he's taking that edge where the people who are like, I'm into conflict and this is my opinion and this is my enemy and I'm into conflict
he's
and
like,
they're
let's
my
talk
enemy.
this out.
And he
Let's
goes,
understand
okay, cool.
each other.
Let's take the two of you, sit you guys down, have you do this little empathy practice, and all of a sudden we can start finding middle ground.
I mean,
Have
like,
you
to me,
guys
that
seen-
guy's a Buddhist master.
Yeah,
like,
he knows the game.
Yeah,
he knows the game.
He's fucking
Have you
great.
guys seen SLC Punk?
Yes. Oh,
So
yeah.
one of my
Not for a long time.
one of my
I've
favorite.
watched that too many times.
I mean, yeah, it's one of the, like, what you can do is you can watch the beginning of Trainspotting and the beginning of SLC Punk, and then stop watching both of them before they get sad. And you're like, oh, it's like almost a happy movie. Like, I actually did that with a buddy of mine, because we were both like.
Let's only watch the beginning of
Yeah,
it.
we're like, we want to watch these, but we don't want to see, like, we're just
We don't
gonna,
want to
like,
skip all the drugs
like,
and prostitution, all the dark stuff.
When the baby dies and da 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 da.
And the guy loses his arm, and
the
the other guy kills himself because the other dude stole his videotape.
Loses his arm.
Oh yeah, in jail he gets because.
Oh no, you're conflating.
It's Trainspotting, isn't it?
No, you're conflating.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream. Which
Thank you.
I only saw that movie once.
Crossing that with.
I watched the first time I watched that. I was on psychedelics. It just came on whatever movie channel I was watching. I was like, "Ooh, I want to check this out," and I was just like, "I will never do heroin."
I was chatting with this
Baby
girl.
on the ceiling. Yeah.
I was chatting with this girl who just got out of
it was
rehab
a
when she
trip.
was like, we were like 15, 16, and she just got out of rehab, and she was like, oh yeah, they had us watch Requiem for a Dream on our last day of rehab. And I was like, yeah,
That'll do it.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Another movie I watched on psychedelics, which turned out to be
wait,
What
sorry.
do you not watch on psychedelics?
Let me back up, because I actually got
as well as possible.
I sidetracked myself with the thing, but what I was trying to get at was the line from SLC Punk that I love, which is, you can do a lot more damage in the system than outside of it.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, like
This is-
Yeah.
I-
that's why, like, voting, like,
No.
like vote, like, take action, like, actually be involved.
Yeah,
within
don't
the
just vote. Don't just vote.
but
Work.
don't
Can I-
not vote. Don't not.
Don't not.
vote.
I'm not.
That's-
Yeah,
don't
I
not
don't.
vote.
I
I
don't
like
care
that.
about. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. That exact same idea. You don't like it, get inside of it, understand how it works, then you can criticize it.
Well, that's like wait, what was I?
I
God
can
damn
still
it, I lost my
criticize the
train of
military.
thought.
No,
What
you
was
can't.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I
can, but
can.
not very effectively.
Girl Interrupted.
Yeah,
Most
I remember
fucked
that one.
up movie I've ever watched tripping.
I can see how.
That movie was not a good choice.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest would probably be bad too.
Maybe, but Girl Interrupted.
I'm not remembering. That
Angelina Jolie and the girl from Beetlejuice.
okay.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Angelina
They are
Jolie-
in a rehab, not a rehab, but more like a mental facility for people that have tried to commit suicide, that kind of thing.
Oh, I vaguely remember.
And it's all girls, and like it's about mental health, and like
Yeah,
it's the dark ages of mental health.
movie to
Like,
watch.
Yeah.
Like I was, that
Like,
probably
where-
scarred me. And
that was like the dark ages of mental health, where it's like, oh, we don't want to deal with you. We're just gonna tell them you're crazy, and then they'll put
Shut
you
you
in a
away
hole.
and medicate you
spoiler
up.
alert: in that movie, the girl who committed suicide.
Like the actress
Yeah.
who played. That's tragic.
Yeah.
I
I don't remember.
But those real life crossovers, we like that shit.
Again, like when she was found dead, I was like, oh, that was in that movie.
It's also in the movie.
It's also one of the things I think is interesting is how much. Like, because Angelina Jolie was supposed to just be a supporting character, but she has so much
she took
charisma and star
over that,
power that
yeah.
it's just like, that's her movie. Like,
Yeah, it was early
Dude,
Angelina.
that,
She
yeah,
was
that
like
is
her-
a scary
it was like
fucking
her
character,
second or third
man.
movie. Because, like,
Yes, it was in her
Cyborg 2 was one of her movies.
first movie.
We were like, wow.
Cyborg
And
2.
of course I watch it because it's like, yeah, Angelina Jolie naked. Like, of course I'm going to watch
Cyborg
that.
1's a classic.
beautiful.
Cyborg 2, I guess, has
still
Angelina
beautiful.
Jolie naked.
It's like, worth watching.
All right,
Like,
okay.
She's beautiful. What
Yeah.
can we say? We like titties.
I mean, and who doesn't like
They're the
hackers?
best
Like,
thing ever.
She was hot with short hair, with that pixie cut.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, she
when-
does the short hair well. She's got a
when
good
you're-
face, strong face, beautiful.
When
face.
you're incredibly beautiful, like, your haircut doesn't really matter. Like, that's...
Actually, I
Sure.
find short hair works really well with a beautiful face. Like,
Yeah, it works
does.
fine.
It shows off the face.
Yeah, it gets the hair out of the way. Stops the distraction. So we have a hard stop time in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just to let everybody know, because Jay's got to go to work today.
Good old hip hoppy show.
Hip
Hippity
hop.
hop.
good. But yeah, one last time.
Yeah,
around.
one last recommendation. Every Frame of Painting. It's it's film analysis. There are only like 8 episodes.
It's a YouTube channel, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's YouTube,
Yeah.
and there are only like 8 episodes, but all of them are really good. He actually like the first one I watched is on Michael Bay, and I was like, I don't like Michael, and my friend was just like, watch it, just watch it, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's good. Like, I understand that he
Yeah.
has skill.
He has a thing that he does.
But
He has skill at it.
Like,
yeah.
he shows why Michael Bay has skill, and that skill without, like, he uses the same skills for every shot, which dilutes the quality not because
He's
it's not
recycling
shot, it's
similar
like
skills.
You're using the same shot selections for a scene, even though it doesn't fit with the narrative.
Right,
And
it's just a style, and so you're just
Yeah.
sticking to the style. I
Yeah.
have heard that same criticism of him, that he's sliding the camera and moving in and doing these color things, and because it never changes, it's mono style. It's not, you're not embellishing a different part of the story, or embellishing a different character, or embellishing a different action using those camera moves and things like that. You're just doing it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Every Frame of Painting. The Jackie Chan one is fucking incredible. Like, that's probably one of my favorites.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Watch every Chemical Brothers video. They're all on YouTube. Watch them all. They're amazing. The most recent one blew my fucking mind. They played it at the concert, and like it was on a big screen, and they had lights behind the screen. So like what these characters you'll see on the video, they shoot lasers, and like on the like the lasers were coming out of the fucking screen. It was goddamn awesome. But watch every Chemical Brothers video. They're all good. A lot of them are by Michelle Gondry, like Chris Milk. Like, they have some great videos. Highly recommended.
That's something you should go into more. There's a couple of artists whose music videos I really like Grimes.
Oh, Grimes is fucking great.
I like her shit.
Yeah.
Shit's dope.
Yeah, I didn't know about her until she played the Fillmore, and I was like, oh,
Whoa.
wow. Yeah,
No
this is
shit.
cool.
This chick's for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to go fucking generic here and just say, if you don't already watch Joe Rogan or listen to Joe Rogan, you should be. And in particular, the Jordan Peterson episodes. And if you want to get really crazy with it, listen to Jordan Peterson's podcast where he interviews Joe Rogan, getting to flip the script. That one was interesting because it's usually Joe Rogan interviewing other people, and now he's
I
getting
just
interviewed.
subscribed to Peterson. Like, I've listened to a few here and there, but like now I'm going to go back.
Yeah, they're
and listen
longer
to more.
format
Yeah.
lecture sort of thing. It was really interesting because Joe is so usually on the interview seat to hear him be
Oh, it's great.
as the interviewee, and to have Jordan kind of dig into his past. Well, why'd you make this decision, and how long did this take, and what were you thinking here? And
I want to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
want to
good.
hear Jordan.
I really enjoyed that
Yeah,
one.
that sounds fun. All right. So,
go to removefromreality.com. The film stuff is still going to happen. That's my only plug.
I have nothing new, but I'm working on some stuff, so I'll let you know when I get it actually to a point.
Nice.
Join Drug Club. Find us on minds.com/silence this. Give us Minds tokens, and we will spend those tokens on drugs. Join Drug Club. Hashtag Drug Club.
I haven't done drugs in a long time, so if you want to see me high, put money in.
Yeah, that's how it works. Like you give us the money, you say you should buy these drugs, and then we buy the drugs.
It's the hobo outside
Sober.
with the sign that says like, "Why lie? It's for beer." But it's like, yeah, it's the digital version of that. You know?
But
Join Drug Club.
it's
Hashtag
extra funny
Drug
because
Club.
it's like I'm not doing it, and it's like, so if you throw money at it, then like, well, I guess I have to do drugs now.
Now I got to, because you joined Drug Club.
Because financial pressure is more than peer pressure.
Oh God.